Hi, I'm Dr. Arjun Khalsa, and this is the companion video to day 2 of the 5-day habit challenge, where I'm talking about habit changes. Some of these habits, and if you've been following along with me, this isn't the first time you're going to hear this, but if you're jumping on for the first time, this may be new. A lot of people are talking about this now, which I love because I think it's so paramount to changing the life that maybe worked for us for a while, or maybe we haven't really liked the way our lives have been, but we always have a choice. We always have that autonomy. We have the power to take back and make changes in our lives. I'm always working on myself. I'm constantly trying to tweak and change what I've been doing and making it better, because I like to sleep, I like to be happy, I like to be pain-free, I like to have enjoyable relationships. So those are all really important to me, and we're not honestly taught those growing up. We're not taught it in schools. Our parents are doing the best they can, and they had the tools that they had at the time that may or may not have served us, or some of it served us and some of them were just not great habits. I had this really interesting experience this week. I was working on a baby, and the baby I had seen a couple times, and they fake coughed. And I've had other moms tell me this too, or the baby's like, yeah, or the mom's like, baby just fake coughed. And then they keep doing it. And this mom this week told me she was reading about it and said it's actually this phenomenon. The babies will do it, and then they get a reaction from their caregivers, so they keep doing it. And I kind of went on down my rabbit hole, which I tend to do if something interests me and then I start thinking about it. And because we're doing this habit change challenge, and I've talked about this, right? Like in the emails, I say, like, maybe you just always put your right shoe on and then your left one. And incidentally, someone emailed me and said in her culture that they do that, and as part of their religion, they actually put one shoe on in front instead of the other, like in a certain order, because that's what they do. And so I kind of made that an example, but I think that's actually the case in a lot of people's lives. And so I was thinking about this in relation to this baby fake coughing, because it is a phenomenon. And then I was thinking how many things we do in our lives because it got attention from someone, and even little, like 2-3 months old, that we've started already creating habits because it gets a certain response out of someone. We get oh, don't do that you're not okay if you do that, or oh my gosh, that's so cute, and then you keep doing it again. So either way, we tend to go in the place where we get positive reinforcement or attention, whether it's good or bad. But if we're not getting good attention, obviously we're going to go to the bad attention if we're raised in a way like that. So a lot of things, and I was even thinking about this, and if you read Louise Hay's book, How to Heal Your Life, or I think I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's a Louise Hay book. And she uses affirmations for everything. So if you can go, if you're not familiar with this book, you can go ailment by ailment. And one of the ones, because I deal with seasonal allergies, or I did in the past, and one of the things for seasonal allergies was the subconscious belief around it is needing attention. And so I kind of put those two together. I have no idea. This is just my own Arjun hypothesizing as I'm going along here. But what I thought was really interesting is that, again, wonder if someone has allergies because coughing gave them some kind of attention, and they weren't getting attention another way, so they thought, oh, well, coughing gets me attention, so I'll continue on with that. And that can lead to all kinds of things. That could be being sick, it could be asthma, it could be allergies, all kinds of things. And it's not even something that we're aware of or we're conscious of, but over a period of time, which is why, when kids are younger and we're like, where did this come from? Why do they have allergies when they're 3 years old or 5 years old or 8 years old? Or why do they have these ailments and other kids don't? And I'm just hypothesizing, I have no idea, but the point I'm trying to make with this example is that sometimes we have habits or ways of being that we've just always done because we did that in our family, or we got some attention when we were younger, and that's just it's part of our fiber, it's part of our being. And some of it's great, it serves us really well, and other things, it serve us well for the time, but it's no longer serving us. So I have learned over these past several years, going through my own personal health challenges, is that there is so much that as we're going into a place, if we're really consciously wanting to heal and make changes, it's like peeling off onion layers. Nothing is easy, or it's not like, our Western culture, we're so indoctrinated to take a pill and make it go away. And if it doesn't, that's it. I can't be healed. That's it. This is my life, my lot in life. And I'm here to challenge that, because I don't feel like when I'm working on people, when people come into my office, I tell them right away, your body can heal itself. I'm just here to help take away the impediments, the dams, so to speak, to let the water go through, because your body knows how to heal itself. So these habits that served us for whatever reason, they're not serving us anymore. We can move those along, and we have the opportunity through conscious choice, through persistence, through making new choices and creating new habits. It'll weed out the things that aren't supporting us anymore, or they're bringing us into a place that we want to be. And in my email, and if you want to get on that, you can go to mydrarjun.com, sign up for my email sequence, and you can get that. That'll be available after this week too. But what I shared is that I had my own personal health, and some people might call it a nervous breakdown in my early 40s. I just turned 50. So when I was 42, I'd been for decades overdoing, started with chiropractic school, and then I just jumped into practice, and I had my kids, and I was in a community that demanded a lot of giving and a lot of showing up in lots of different ways, and then just building a practice and maintaining a business. If anyone tells you starting a small business is easy, it's not. It's a lot of work. A lot of months I don't pay myself. I have to pay my vendors, pay my people first, and then making sure that I do a different kind of work. So I'm not a traditional chiropractor, so it's a lot. And so that was stressful. I had my son; he had been in boarding school. He came home that year, and he was in a school 30 minutes south. My daughter was in a school 30 minutes west, and I had some family members that moved into town that were highly stressful. Very, very, put a lot of pressure on me and my family. And I'd run a 10K, and back then I used to travel a lot. So I went to Guadalajara, Mexico, and I used to facilitate these all day long meditations. Sometimes there'd be hundreds or thousands of people at these meditations. And that's a lot to maintain. I loved it, and it was a lot. But my rule at the time was, if I had any of these things, I would go home afterwards, because they were 12-hour days. This time I let myself get talked into going out to eat, and there were 10 people at the table. And of course, like me being who I am, including everybody, asking questions, being curious about people's lives. And that meant I didn't go home or back to my hacienda and sleep until 11 or midnight. And so moving into all this, I was already exhausted. Like, in retrospect, my nervous system was completely shot. I was pushing through. I was not paying attention to what my body was needing. I was into people pleasing, so everything was about making sure everybody else was taken care of, and the community I was in really reinforced that, like, service above everything. So I was all about always taking care of others. And so this thing happened, which was, in retrospect, it was funny, but I got woken up to someone yelling "Brujo," which is witch, but like the male version in Spanish. And in my mind, I was like, oh my God, they're coming for me. And my heart was racing. Once I woke up and it was fun, I was like, oh yeah. And there was people out having a party at the place I was staying. And it was actually really cute. Like, it was fun. But from that time forward, I started having anxiety, insomnia, panic attacks. It was bad. And sometimes I'd be working and I was just like, I don't even care if I die. My heart was pounding so hard that I felt like I was going to die. And the sleep was terrible. I'd get maybe 5 hours of sleep, but not even deep sleep or continual sleep. So I was in a bad place. So I started making life changes, and it was everything. It wasn't just taking some supplements. I took some adrenal support, and that helped for a couple of months, and which also told me it was my nervous system. But I had multiple things going on. My body would just jerk different places all night long. I'd start falling asleep, I'd jerk like that. When you start falling asleep and you dream you're falling off a wall or something, and it wakes you up. But I would have that all night long, and it would be a leg or an arm or a stomach muscle. So that was terrible. And so I really had to make some major changes in my life. And that was looking at relationships that were unhealthy. Like, if I didn't feel good and people didn't make me feel, if I was on edge or feeling defensive, or my heart just started, I was like, nope. And not that they were bad people, I'm just like, this is not resonating with me. So those relationships started going. I changed my work hours, so I wasn't going in as early. I got rides for my kids more. I started eating differently. So not that I was a big coffee drinker, but coffee completely was out of my diet. And then I had to like not do things at night either, because if I went out at night, it would be extra hard for me to decompress. And so that made sleep harder. So that means I went probably a couple years with I had to be home by like 7 o'clock. So as you're seeing, it was a whole lifestyle upheaval. And it was that important to me. Like I did not want to take some anti-anxiety meds. I wasn't depressed, but I didn't want to take anything. I didn't want to take a lot of things. So for me, I was like, I knew this was an internal job in my own wiring that I needed to deal with. So since then, I've been working on hormones, supplements, food, relationships. We've moved from where we were for 25 years. I make my work schedule and I change it seasonally or sometimes monthly, depending on what's going on. And it's still a process, but I'm in such a better place. And again, reason I'm sharing all of this with you is because you've got a story too. And probably where you are today took many, many years to get there. And, maybe you're doing great. Like maybe you've got this and life's just like rolling for you. And thank you, God, that that's the way it is for you. And I'm so grateful. And I hope you're sharing your story with other people. And because I ask everybody, if people are doing really well or if they've gone through a process, I ask everybody what they've done, how they're doing, what they do to maintain it. But everybody I talk to has a routine. Nobody just gets up whenever they want, drinks a Coke, has donuts every morning. Everybody I know who's doing well, they have a great routine for themselves. So all of that leads to habit changes. So habit changes are an intentional process, and it's something we have to do every day. They say it takes 40 days to change a habit, and I agree with that. And I think it probably even takes longer. And the other thing is also just small little tweaks. They're super, super important. I've mentioned that so many times too. So one of my patients was leaving on Friday. She's like, I'm taking magnesium now and I'm drinking water and I'm walking. And I'm like, that is a lot. Like even just if she were just saying I'm taking magnesium, that's a lot to start off with. So whatever it is that you're doing, do it slowly. And the other thing I really want to share with you today, I've had lots of programs that I've also drawn on over the years. And I love this one. It's called the Dynamic Neural Retraining System. It's by Annie Hopper. She's this lovely lady, as far as I can tell through the videos that she's on. My chiropractor recommended this to me, and it was a huge game changer. I told him I still wasn't sleeping, so he just sat back in his chair. He's like, Arjun, you've got to do the Dynamic Neural Retraining System. And it was like the 2 days I had when no one was in my house during the pandemic. And the pandemic, everybody's home all the time. So I happened to have 2 days where no one was home. So I just got on this program. It's supposed to be a 3-day program. I got it done in 2 days, and the other day took me like almost a year. But those first 2 days, they talk about the science behind habits and how our brain's wired, and then how our brain is wired keeps us in that mode, whatever it is. And so we've got to actually rewire our brain, because we have all these tendrils, millions of them going through our brain. And anytime we do something, like people who play piano, if you've ever learned to play piano or an instrument, it's really awkward at first and you have to think about everything. And the more you do it, the more it becomes natural and you don't have to think about it anymore. Your brain's just automatically doing it. Riding a bike is another perfect example. At first, it's awkward and it's scary and you're probably falling. And then once you learn it, you don't even think about it. It's just easy. Your brain's got this, your muscle memory's in there. So using those two examples, everything in our lives are like that, right? I've got braces now and I have to put rubber bands in, and it was hard at first. It took me like 10 minutes the first time, and now I'm like, no big deal. I've got the muscle memory in there. I know it works. Now it takes me 30 seconds to do both sides. So just a more of a recent example of this. So, and I wanted to show you one little thing about the Dynamic Neural Retraining System, which we'll have a link in here. We have a link in my email also. You can check it out. It's only $300. And folks, like that jerking I was talking about, it was gone in 3 days. I still get it periodically, but it doesn't keep me up all night long. I may get one little thing, and it's the only thing that helped, honestly. I had other practitioners that I went to say, you might just have to live with this. And I was like, heck no, I'm not living with this. I can't live with this. Like that was it. I couldn't sleep. It was going nuts. So I love this program, and I wanted to just share a quick thing. And this is based on their program. And like I said, there's a lot of learning in there. They're talking about colors and movements and stopping, like using words and actions and retraining into, instead of having these old looping negative thoughts, moving into positive thoughts too. So, and I'll share some Joe Dispenza work tomorrow too, but this one in particular I really liked. I've, again, used different programs, but the very basic of this is, and I still use this even if I'm having a hard time, I'm sitting at work, I can't get up to do this, but I did this over and over and over again, sometimes 30 minutes at a time. But very basic, if you're having a hard time, you can start with this, and you need to do the movement. You need to bring your energy up. That's a big one. I talk about that a lot too. Energy has to come up. When your energy's up and fills your heart, it overrides those negative feelings, those feelings of lack or worry or anger, frustration. They're kind of these lower chakra, lower energy center feelings. Bring your energy up, and this, and if you know about heart math, this is where heart math comes into action. And heart math is all about, this is our biggest energy center in our entire body, more than our mind, more than our solar plexus, anything. So if we can bring your energy here, that's where the magic happens. So I'm just going to take a minute and show you this. So whatever it is, if you're feeling something, and I'm on Sunday wear here. So if you're standing here and you've got something going on that your brain's ruminating about, and this is about usually breaking old habits. It's not so much making, but it will create a new habit for you too, the habit of getting out of whatever the negativity is. But let's just take, for example, I had something go on at work a couple weeks ago, and I did this for myself. I had to do it a few times because my brain was ruminating, looping, and I know enough now. I don't want my nervous system to get into that habit. I've worked so hard to get out of the anxiety part of things. So I was like, nope, we're not doing this. I'm not going back there. So what you do is you just stand here and you take your hands and you go, stop, stop, stop. My brain is stuck in a rut and it's sending my body false messages. And you can just do that, okay? There's more to it than that, but this is super, super basic. So it's stop, stop, stop. My brain is stuck in a rut and it's sending my body false messages. So you can do that, and then just even the stopping part, just telling your brain to stop the insanity, that's a big one. So if you have any questions, post them below. I highly recommend that program. It was paramount for me, and it's not sexy. It's just this easy, nice program. The lady's super nice, which I love. And yeah, if no one else has told you today, I love you. I'm so grateful that you're here, that you're making the changes in your life to make you and the world a more peaceful, vital, beautiful place. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video, and let me know how you do. Let me know if this worked for you. Okay, bye.